Start recording. Okie dokie. So, where we left off, we had this funky menu system working, and we could change options, and like some of the options would actually do something, and we put this little flicker in there so they would turn off. But let's get rid of that for now. Okay, so what we want to do today is expand out on our API a little bit. So I was thinking that we should try and add checkboxes and sliders would probably be a smart thing to add. And so we'll do that. Okay. We'll do that to begin with, and then I've got another thing that we'll do if we have time, which I think we will, because this should be fairly simple. So let's add a checkbox. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's just call our checkbox foo. And then we want to track a variable foo. And I'm just going to leave this as an API design exercise for you.
Okay. Right. So probably the easy thing would be UI checkbox. And this is probably going to be one of those. Well, actually, no, it won't be. Well, whoops, where'd I go? Okay, yeah. I was thinking maybe it would return true if it was checked, but that doesn't make too much sense because it's not a thing where you want to maybe do something right away. But I'm not exactly sure yet. Well, because I feel like it should be like, well, if UI checkbox foo, that just means if it's checked to do this thing. I mean, maybe we do want that, but it would, you maybe don't want to do a thing, so, right? But it could be just changing state, though, too. So, and if I trust the developer, actually, what if I do this instead? What if I do one of those funky ref foos? This way it's sort of like, if it gets checked, then foo will flip.
Right. That seems like a good plan. And so another thing to think about here is also you're going to need to draw this. So the checkbox method is going to need to know the value of the variable foo as well. So that's probably wise.
Right. Okay.
So let's stick that in.
Text, and that's value. This is abstract. Draw. Let's see. Okay. Update method.
So let's do update because it's pretty simple, I think.
Oops, this should be bool. Actually, I made a mistake in my.
So, yes, I agree it should be bool. So if we make it bool, we can also return true if it gets hit, which is a useful thing to do in sort of weird situations.
That's right. And we'll probably just return a value. So, how did I do update? If update read only focus is text. Right, so we can probably do the same thing. Update read only focuses text.
I don't remember this. Your item is
this is
completely different to mine.
Oh, we added a caret. If you recall.
Oh no, okay, sorry, you're you're looking at draw.
Oh, am I? Oh, I didn't mean to be. That's dumb. Yeah, this should be false. I thought I was in somewhere else.
Yeah. That looks very different. Let's do update first, but we will do draw, obviously.
Okay, so I feel like it's going to be more or less this. If we items add text, I feel like it's going to be very simple to item. In fact, maybe we almost want this to call item? No, hold on. what would the result be? Maybe we do this. This I'm just talking a little bit. Maybe we
Yeah.
do item value is equal to item text. It gives us the item, but yeah, that's really all we care about from the UI side. We just care that it's a thing that we went to and we activated. Actually, no. Value should be equal. No. If item value is equal to not value. So it's like if I press a button on this item, then I will flip the checkbox to whatever it was before, or reversing it. I think that's all I have to do for that. And then
That sounds
the
pretty
draw
good.
might be a little bit interesting. I think I'll just steal the item one and then in fact, I think we always want I forget what this does. Hold on a second. Label. Okay, that's actually doing the drawing. Okay, so this one changes the text. This one should never care about the focus. Oh, we still need that. But this one should be like that plus x if its value is true. I don't know if this is going to look ugly or not. Value? Oh, that won't work. Wait. Value x, otherwise space, and then text. And then, whoops, I forgot the ending one. That's janky, but I think it will work.
Well, we can give it a go. Let's run it. Yeah, we have a checkbox. Let's run it and see what it does.
Oh, I forgot that. Did I add the checkbox? Oh, okay. Well, I definitely already see a bug.
Turn off the blinker for now.
Oh, the functionality works. I just put the X caret in the wrong spot.
I didn't even put the.
Yeah, this is supposed to go here instead, and then maybe I'll add a space. Funsies, and then this goes away. Yeah. Okay. I think that okay. So it worked. My ASCII art was fail, but yeah. So there we go. So foo, and then oh, I could have put the caret in there too. In fact, it might be. Yeah, I'm gonna do that just because why not?
Well, our drawing is obviously we'll do another pass on the drawing and add little art for the checkbox and stuff. But
oh sure, of course, yeah.
But for now, this is great.
Oh nope, I made a dumb mistake. Hold on, 1 second. I actually just want to steal this whole thing. Right up here, and then just I'm making all kinds of. No. Sorry. Text is equal to update read only. Followed by this.
So I'm gonna slow you down here.
Followed by no more ternary. You're gonna anti-ternary.
No, I'm gonna make a suggestion, and that is we're copying pretty much the entire contents of item, so it might be worth looking at item whether we can reuse it, because all item does is append a caret to the start of the thing if it needs a caret.
Yeah.
So we could probably just call that directly instead of calling the label.
I don't think so.
No?
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, I see what you're saying. I was thinking in reverse. I was like, oh, I don't want to call label and draw the thing twice, but basically, what you're saying is just to add the checkbox. Well, no, I can't. I don't think so because the caret has to go here, or the checkbox has to go here, right? And if I call item directly, it's going to literally render out.
You've actually spotted something interesting here, and it may be worth looking into. And that is, it actually, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And we'll need. I feel like we want to fix that. because this is going to result in some code duplication.
Yeah, just let me. Yeah, okay. I think
Yeah.
I'll finish my thought. Well, I
Yeah,
just
no,
wanted
that makes sense. Why don't we just copy this from item, and if we just move that one there, actually, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we'll just do plus equals. Yeah, we'll do caret on this stack, and then we'll just do plus equals, or sorry, text is equal to caret. Yeah. Good. Oh. Okay, well now I see what you're saying. because it's appending to the front of it, I should be able to literally just call return item text.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I'm saying that you should.
I can see that because text is my text, and then so it's just going to add what? Yeah, it's just going to prepend. I got confused by what the meaning of text was, but I think you're correct here.
No. I thought I was right. I thought we'd be able to avoid this for now. But you'll notice it doesn't highlight. And so see the line that I have highlighted on my screen?
Yeah.
That's where we're running into a problem.
Oh, because we're just doing equals. We're just doing a straight up compare, and the text isn't never going to compare to that because it's dynamic.
Yeah. So what I'm going to suggest is just copy the contents of item to where you've got return item, and we'll just fix it up quickly the way I've done it for now. So if you take a quick look at my screen and just see how I've just introduce a new variable, or just not touch text.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Print text is equal to plus value. That's that, and then text. Whoops. Print text. This label print text. Goody.
One more.
Oops.
Don't worry, I made that same mistake. I'm like, oh, hang on.
Okay, so there we go. Checkbox.
So now it should be working. Yeah.
Other than obviously the rendering, the size of the space is not, blah blah kerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, and there's a reason sort of that I wanted to get into that, but we'll come to that later. So what I want to do now is add a slider. So int UI, and we'll just copy checkbox for now and call it my value ref. And so that's maybe call it slider. If you have a better name for that, that would be good. And I'm just going to change.
No, I only ever see slider or range.
Range. Call it range.
I think only just because range is less semantically loaded than slider, because that kind of implies a slider, whereas range could be done a number of ways.
It's true. I think I'm actually going to disagree with you here.
Okay.
I think that's premature abstraction. I think in all cases we are gonna be making a slider. Like it's going to be the UI element that is a thing that slides back and forth. I don't think there's a case where it's going to be anything different.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I sort of I want to move away from abstracting where we don't need to. If we can make it concrete, let's do that.
I should call it the integer enumerable editable
editable
UI
integer.
sequence.
Editable range
component.
Integer. Yeah. Oh my.
Okay, so slider, so it's gonna take so it's gonna have the value, and then it's gonna have the my value. Okay, pretty samey UI. Oops.
So while we're here, I've just replaced our ticker with foo too.
Oh, okay.
So before you start implementing this, let's just think about I've just copied that from Checkbox. So let's actually think about what we want the API to be for that.
Yeah. Well, I think int. Yeah. So you put the value in there. I'm not regarding the return value. Usually, you want a bool so that like you can do something if something is something, but we don't actually. We haven't passed in any constraints. I think probably you want to have a true or false come out of it because you want to know whether or not it's in a range that you want or out of the range you want. But we haven't passed in the range that we want it to be in. So, or maybe that doesn't. That's right. Maybe I have there's two concepts here. One is just can we slide so the value is updated in the state, and the other one is should there be a min and a max range that we return true out of. So maybe we want to add like min and max to this.
I think we do want min and max. I think that would be a useful thing to do.
Okay. Well, then I think I'm happy with that.
Okay, that seems pretty reasonable.
And then, alright, so update the UI. Alright, so slider update. So we don't have to do anything for the text, but we probably have to check same old text focus bit. So item again, probably. So if we like items pretty much our go-to activation thing. So if we activate the slider text, then we'll have to decide. Oh wait, hold on a second. Pressing a spacebar in a range slider doesn't really make a lot of sense. So maybe we need to.
Right.
Hmm?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm gonna just steal the item code just so that I can grab this. So I guess what would make sense? Left and right. So if we press the left button, that is, we can say, okay, if value is greater than min, then decrement the value. If value is less than the max, then increment the value. Oh, and then I guess in this case we want to return true in each case where we were able to manipulate the value, and then return false when we were not, more or less.
So, one thing to do now, this is good, but let's look at how item is implemented because we've left a few things out, and like there was reasons that we had this stuff in item.
Oh, and the result. Oh no, result was just a change to act. Okay, well maybe we'll. I mean, if that's just a style thing, like we can do it that way.
Well,
oh yeah, right. Items
yeah.
add. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. Yep. You're right. So I'll just change my returns to actual result, reasonable result stuff. Result equals return result. Okay.
So
there we go.
You can see something interesting here, and that is there's actually a lot of design decisions. Here it's like, okay, do we return true only when the value changes, or just if the user gives input and we'll return true even if they bump up against the range? Like that's the thing we could do.
Well, I was thinking about the bool. Like I can't think of too many useful things for returning true just if the value changes, but I can think of things returning true if it's valid, or continue, because then we'll probably drive a audio off of this, right? So you want it to go splat when you didn't, like when you were out of range. So the you did the wrong thing because you tried to go up or down too far.
Yes, although we'll probably the way we'll do audio is we'll probably actually just stick it in here, and in here.
Oh, yeah, right. That'll make it more flexible.
Because, like, I don't think there's like, you can imagine wanting to do audio, like maybe we even give it like an audio provider and stuff in like a interface library that's I guess, shipping to someone as a library that they're going to use, and maybe they have two different menus and they want two different audio sound sets for the menu. But for just like for something that you have the source code to and you want to keep it really simple, like the reuse pattern for that is we just copy the source code into the new project.
That's fair. Although I was thinking more just about like, in every other case that we're doing the API, like we're like telling the user like, okay, if this it's up to you to do a thing out of the checkbox and do a thing out of the slider. I think we're kind of outsourcing audio to them, which could be a good thing. Just to say like you decide if you want that sound for when the checkbox goes boop. Unless, I guess you're saying like you just want to copy the source and then put your own game logic in there for audio. I don't know. I could see it either way. I don't think it's too library-ish to use that bool for audio.
Well, in this, because you can imagine that then in every single one of these, you'd be like, if that play audio, and then next one, if that play audio, and so on. So obviously we're not going to want to do that.
That's true. I was just thinking no, you're right. Actually, yeah.
Thinking about how we implemented Checkbox, one thing we might want to do here, and I don't know, I've got void here anyway. We might want to do this.
I implemented it. Oh, go ahead. I implemented this. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. See, I was looking at it like I implemented checkbox, like as in it would return true if it was valid, as it was on. So slider would work if it was in range. But you're actually like just give back the result that they care about. Like, well, then you can act on a specific value.
Yeah. So and that's kind of the pattern we have with item. It's like we only return a non-zero result if something has happened.
Right.
And I think that's probably the way we want to do it. And in fact, thinking about how draw works, we in fact always want to do that. Because in draw we always return nothing has happened, and we expect the user code to effectively do nothing. And we actually need that to be the case, because if we say modify some state in draw, we'll have network problems.
Right, you're right. But one thing that I'm wondering about.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, I just gotta fix this. Now that we've done that, this 0 I find to be problematic, just because we're going to return a 0, and that could have been, we could have a negative 100 to 100 slider, and now we're saying that the value was 0. So we need to like now we're talking about sentinel states or
no. So take a quick gander at the code that I've written, because it's not the same as yours. I've very very specifically
increment decrement. Yeah. Okay. So you're returning the actual component value.
Yeah, I'm returning the change in the value.
Better.
And I think that's maybe a better thing to do.
It absolutely is.
In fact,
wow, I love getting schooled on these things. It's like, I know what we'll do. Oh yeah.
Well, because you can imagine a case where my value, for example, and we have a bit of a problem here because we can't pass just a ref null, like it's going to whinge at us. So I don't know. We'll have to fix out the UI just to make C# happy. But you can imagine a case where I guess we have to do pass some sort of numeric value. But you can imagine a case where this ref is not pointing to something, and we're like scrolling through. I can't think of anything right now, but even just a property like what is it? Sound effect dot volume plus equals int result, and maybe it's like if result not equals 0 if you want to be extra safe. And so we can do that, and that lets us use the slider change to modify something different. I'm not sure I think that's fine. I think that's actually okay, because then you actually don't use my value. It's like int the value equals sound effect of volume. So this code that I've written here, that's the thing. That's a way we could use this API. In the case where we're actually not modifying, where we're not directly modifying something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're basically just shoving the ref into a dead value kind of thing. It's not ever like, because it's a value type. It's not gonna ref anything. But couldn't we do what you're doing there as an overload method that doesn't take the ref? Like we could. No, wait, no, we can't.
We still have to have some way to write.
Yeah,
you'd
still have to. Yeah, you'd have to pass it in. Well, return a result. I was just thinking, is there a way to do?
Like we could do something like this, but then that kind of makes the API a bit more ugly, because you've got this thing that sort of, if you forget the ref, hey, it's not going to modify it, and that's just inviting bugs. So anyway, that's sort of the thought behind that, and it's the same with checkbox. It's like, if I have a thing that's not just a boolean sitting there, maybe we want to do that. Also, like, we could have it like volume equals the value. We could also do this situation where it's like we want to update some property or something, but only when it actually changes.
Right. Although if you could have some kind of, you could pass in your audio manager class property to the ref, right, and actually just directly put the sound effect volume into it, and then it would update it.
No, because you can't pass properties as reference.
You can pass a class though as a reference, though. Yeah. Oh, not in this case because it's integer. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
So
yeah.
it would you'd have to have an interface or something.
Just audio whatever, and then the class on it. See where I'm going with that? Yeah. You got it.
So like there is this sort of ugly case where you could be like, here's the delegate. It's like return sound effect dot value, and then you'd also have to pass value sound effect dot value equals value, or however you heard that.
I don't actually hate that, but we said I don't hate it, but we don't want to do it because we said no delegates anyway, right?
Well, yeah. So we're stuck in a situation where we don't want to do delegates. It's not the worst thing in the world, but if we can avoid doing that, I think it's actually not a bad idea to avoid, because it is actually nicer to be like, well, we don't have this ugly function call. We just get the change in the value and we use it.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of the thinking on doing it that way. So let's just quickly do draw now.
Right.
So I think the update looks fine, and if it's not, we'll find out. But I think it's okay. Slider.
I think I'll steal the checkbox thing because I probably want the what am I call it? The whole print text problem solved.
Yes.
Print value. Let me see. So caret is still a thing. So everything down here is fine. So all we just need to do is make a reasonable representation of the range. So maybe something like the min plus something max, and maybe
well, let's first of all, what do we want the slide to look at like? Let's just type that in as like a comment. Like, we want to have the caret and then something and then.
Yeah, I was thinking like 0 dot dot, and then my actual value dot dot, and then 10, and then if you can go forward you put that, and if you can go back, or actually here, if you, this is maybe weird, but you can go here and there, and you put those in if you can go forward or not. and put it says 0, then I would say you can't go left anymore, and if it was 10, you couldn't go right anymore, but you could go left. I don't know.
I'm going to because we'll be implementing this, like, so you can imagine like a real UI. You might have my value, and then over on the right column you have like you have like a slider thing, and then like a slider thing you can slide it up and down on. So going,
sure.
So this is sort of. I think we want to do this as like ASCII art anyway, but you can imagine in a real scenario you will actually draw this thing onto the screen. So I think it wouldn't be unreasonable to try and put that together as an ASCII thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's try that.
All right. So we got the carrots, and now we just need the text, which is the label, my label, and then maybe I don't know, a tab. And then
I'm not sure Sprite Batch can render a tab.
Crap. I forgot. Yep. And then right, and then we got this guy on the end, and okay. So what goes in here? This goes. I gotta for loop this stupid thing. I guess we can make a string. Do we have our working buffer anywhere yet?
So that was going to be part 2, and that is once we have a whole lot of string manipulation going on, we might want to rethink our API in terms of adding in string builders. But for now, let's just prototype it with just slapping it together.
Okay. All right, so we need max minus min for the number of slots or whatever, I guess.
Pips, I believe they would be called.
Pips?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so I think that's max minus min. We're not doing any guarding against min and max being the right value, but whatever.
No, I think we'll worry about that later. I think that's if the user runs into that problem, maybe that's their problem. We'll code it up and then see what happens. How's that sound?
Oh, I think we should use a contract library, the assertions that happen at compile time, like contract assert. No? All right.
Oh my god.
We can do this all day. Yeah.
See, I'm glad if you can joke about it. Yeah, it means we're learning.
This is very different than what I had to do for the last couple of days. All right, so pip max minus min. Okay, and then I forget the thing. It's like string join. No, it's well, I could do the crappy. I don't want to do this though. I'm not gonna.
No.
The enumerable range thing. I forget the cool kids way to do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it with a loop. We're hardcore. So.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. I figured we were gonna try to do it inline, but
Well, yeah. If you do it with a loop, then aside from the fact we're appending text, which is a bit of an issue, which we'll deal with shortly, the loop is always faster than anything that's going to be.
Oh yeah, I figured loop, but I thought maybe there was I thought you wanted me to do it in the string for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. It's one of those days. Yeah. So, print text is equal to, and then we'll just decide if it's again, I'm over turnering this thing, but value equals I. It would be an O, otherwise it would be a dot.
Well, you know what you can do. Is if I is min, max. I don't think we even need pips.
Oh right, that's classic. Right. I know. I don't think you're pretty. I don't think you're down with the ternary operator, or.
Oh no, ternary is fine.
Okay. Cool. I forgot. All right.
Yeah,
so
no,
this got.
right. I
This
usually
goes.
wrap it just to make it clear, but
Oh right. Yeah. Sometimes you have to if you're doing it inline. But okay. Print text. I'll wrap this one just for style, but I think that would technically be. Oh, it's
well,
not
you're in.
redundant.
Oh, did you need it? Because
But
you're in 2017 Visual Studio, aren't you? Which
yeah,
because that's been really annoying me because I mean like, all right, I'm gonna wrap this so this code is nice and clear, it's nice and readable, and it like grays out a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, no, I really actually wanted the excess there to
yeah.
show
Well,
show the meaning of the code. Please don't try and clean up my code. Like you
Visual
can
Studio thinks the code's for it and not for you. That's the
yes
problem.
yes. That's has always been a pet peeve. I've got a great tweet somewhere. It's like um, said something like people forget that source code is to be read by humans first and computers a very distant second.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a
And
philosophical debate, I'm sure. But yeah, yeah. In fact, the institutional industry kind of like praises. Oh, you can't have this in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of have, and you have to turn those things off. Well, I do when when I'm doing game dev, just because I benefit from having the extra information. All right, so I think we're good. Might as well find out what works and what doesn't.
All right. I think that sounds good. Let's give it a go. I mean, this is looking pretty good. We've got foo, we can turn it on and off. Hey.
Yeah.
Nice. That's actually really awesome. That's so
It would be
satisfying.
nice. There's a million things I'd rather like. We still have to implement the hold down to go forward thing, so we don't have to tap it.
Key repeat. That's a good one. In fact, have we got that on our list?
It's on our list,
Oh, it
I
is on our
believe.
list. So
Yeah.
we'll add key repeat in the near future. I think that's a great idea. Okay.
This is oddly satisfying.
I,
I love this functional style of programming. You get way more done in less time.
well, exactly. It's like yeah. There's a reason to do it this way. It's like it's so simple, and it's not even that much code. We're at line 336 is the end, and 321. So it's a little over 200 lines of code.
It's also pretty tight to the thinking. Like we can actually think in this way as opposed to having to take what we're thinking and then turn it into some model.
Yeah, abstracting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost no code. It's almost nothing. In fact, we're gonna make it a little bit. Well, we'll make it a bit smaller and we'll make it a bit bigger because we're gonna add a couple of features as well.
Well, yeah. Well, as soon as we add the abstract renderer, then we can always keep our ASCII UI whenever we need it, and then we can kind of give. I'm joking. But I've seen that before. I've seen a ASCII art renderer for XNA. I thought it was pretty rad.
You say that, but UI Drawer is a class that inherits from UI System, so you can actually do that really easily.
Yeah, I will resist the attempt. You know how like those
that's not unreasonable though. Sorry?
Yeah, I was just thinking like those those just like basic algorithms that convert like photographs into ASCII art.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could totally just if you could do it fast enough, you could get the you could pull the texture data off the render target and push it out as text and play a whole game.
I think I've seen a pixel shader that does that.
Oh wow, that'd be ideal, yeah, because it would just bitmap it and then map them.
Well, you take okay, so it pixel totally off topic. So you've got the pixel shader. It's all right. Let's get out the whiteboard. I'm not going to upload this one.
I totally want to do this at the end of this just for fun, but I probably won't. But
like, I don't know how they actually do it. But imagine. Okay, so you've drawn your game, and it's drawn it into a render buffer, which is a bunch of pixels. We access those pixels by using what is it? There's linear filter and then no filter. pixel filter. Anyway, the point is you read it so that you're getting exact pixel boundaries. You're not getting a blur between pixels, and then you have you render out this with a pixel shader. And so it's like, all right, first of all, get text, and it grabs that pixel there.
You gotta do like an edge detection on it, or try to figure out the closest.
Oh, I guess you could do edge detection if you want to grab like a range of pixels.
Right.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense. You probably want to do it that way, because a lot of the renderers will do. But some of them just get a single pixel, and it's like, all right, we'll blow up this one pixel to that, and it's like, all right, what's the value here? We'll convert that to grayscale, and then we'll just do a texture lookup into a texture that's full of here's a blank space, and then here's like a let's see, like a dot, and then here's a plus, and then here's an asterisk, and that maybe it's like a 4 thing, and then you just render that out to the bigger texture, and then so you get your plus there, and it's like plus plus plus.
But how could you determine, like, I guess the edge, like you'd have to take multiple pixels in order to figure out like the discernibility of an object, right? Otherwise you're just dealing with color values at the pixel level. But yeah, I mean,
okay, so that's you're right. So that's one way you could do it, and that's just like, we'll just take the grayscale value of that and turn it into a symbol from this symbol list. But if you wanted to do it like in an edge detecting way, I think that's a little bit different. You'd have to all right, when you're rendering this pixel, you'll have to look at all 8 pixels around it. So that's like a lot more texture fetches, but you can do that. Maybe even just 4 texture fetches, like grab these ones, and then
surprising. Your technique actually wouldn't have worked for when the game was going to take like a sprite sheet full of like broken game fragments, like texture, like a random texture. Could we have done the single pixel version to map that to one of those, instead of plus star minus, it could have been one of those blocks of broken game.
Oh yeah, no, there was a whole lot of difficulty with that. Really, honestly, the 2 major problems with that is that the simple way of implementing it didn't actually look very good.
Right. Remember.
And the other reason was we're just out of time to make it look even better.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, now I'm officially obsessed with making a Matrix style green screen text renderer for XNA.
So what you do is you'd grab your current pixel and grab maybe 4 pixels around it, or even, I don't know, maybe a group of 4 pixels, like that one. And then sort of your rendering pixel would be this one, something like that, or you render that section there. Anyway, and then you'd use that as a lookup into a more complicated texture. So you can imagine you'd take this, you'd make it like flip invariant. So maybe you couldn't do that because you want. Anyway, you'd then use the values there to look up into a much more complicated texture of like, plus dash dash dash, sort of symbols laid out in such a way that they convert nicely, and you'd probably generate that somehow, and then use that to render like a block of. So instead of one of these pixels, like in the green case, mapping to like, it's a bright pixel, so it's a star, it would be like, this block of 4 blue pixels would be like, oh, it's, maybe the corner pixels are active, so it looks like a dash like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's sort of a nifty little tangent there.
Yeah, well, I like the simplicity of the ASCII art. That's all. Yeah. I thought it'd be cool to see that.
Let's do that sometime.
Sure. What's next? Is that it for today?
I think we're running into the end of this, so I do want to wrap it up. But what I do want to
Sure.
do is do maybe a little bit of code cleanup, because you can see that in this case we've got this nice thing because we're not modifying text. We're just calling into item, and that's fine. Whereas down here, we're actually doing a whole lot of copying and generating stuff, and I feel like. And that's only because we need to stick this caret in here because we've got this thing. And I feel like it might be time to implement implement where's my thing? Here we go. Item with two values, item string name, string text. And whether or not that's actually, I think it is a good idea, because you can imagine if we have a lot of these, stuff starts to proliferate. And you can also imagine the case where we have multiple names that are like multiple texts that are the same, but the name is different, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be a bit early to implement this, but I think it's worth it because we can clean up this code. Like there is a case where we could just implement it in draw. In fact, maybe we'll do that. Although you've already written it, so let's just do it straight up. So
Well, it might be useful anyway, so it's not a total waste.
yeah, we can always leverage it down. I'm just conscious of the fact we're like
Yeah, trying to do something at the 59 mark. That's fine.
well, not only that, but like we're disobeying the write the usage code first rule.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, so let's do update first, because update's probably maybe the easier one.
So instead of text being focus, it's name is the focus. So in the case where it's an item without a name, we would just substitute probably what default. Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're doing what I just haven't done yet, which is that one's going to become an overload probably, and this one is name. Focus item add name.
I think
Not doing anything with the text.
It's as simple as that.
Well, you have to. No, isn't that a recursion forever? Item. This one. Aren't you
yeah,
recursion?
no, sorry. I'm.
You just need a default value. Oh yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, good
Text
catch,
is
good
the name.
catch.
Although in this case, I would actually rename text to name just to be consistent.
Well, no, because text is what we're rendering, and we aren't specifying a name. Whereas here we're specifying the name, and we're going to render text.
Yes.
So I think it'll be very clear once we do draw. I think that's it. I think that's all we have to do in
Yeah.
update. So let's do draw.
Yeah. And then the new one here is just again going to be the same thing. And then name text is equal to plus text labeled text. Yeah, that's it. Too easy.
And then we can go through
Yeah,
checkbox
use
and
that
stuff. Let's
for.
fix those up now.
So print text is now. Oh, don't we need an overload for text or checkbox now that takes name and text? Or no.
We could and we probably should add that, and so we are making the we are making the library code effectively
Oh.
a little bit more complex by doing that. But and
Yeah.
it's questionable whether we actually need to do that because we haven't written the user code for that. But by doing so, we make the user code sort of simpler, and we sort of make the API complete in a sense. So it's probably worth doing.
But I think this is all that Checkbox becomes at this point.
I think
we just
I think
take
you're
the-
right. I think that makes things nice and simple. And so, in fact, this may be why it's perfectly fine to do that, because you can imagine we just do that and string name, and then it's like name that is, or in fact, it becomes
The other way around, yeah.
is checkbox, and then you just call into the other thing. But anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah,
So
we
do
don't need to do that
later.
now. That's polish. Yeah, so slider, same deal. The print text is what we're gonna call text, and then we're gonna return item. The name is text, and the text is print text. Oh, what? Can't return. Oh, right. So just item and then return value.
Nice.
Although,
Hmm.
is that right? I thought this value was going to be plus or. Oh, that's an update.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
It's-
you wrote return value, and I just automatically wrote return 0.
Yeah, because it's a UI system doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, you never signal a change from the UI system from draw.
Although, isn't it more consistent just to return value, even though we know we're just going to pass value right back to itself?
No.
doesn't-
No. Remember that this was the thing where it's like if that, then
Oh,
a
right,
change
we
is
don't-
made, do update, and so in draw we
Yes.
never want to do update.
So we always, that's that item potent thing. We always want the draw to never have side effects. Therefore, it should always return whatever the 0 side effect case is of the update. Got it. I
Yep.
remember now.
So
cool.
let's just finish up by going to main menu, and let's use our shiny new method for something. Let's perhaps let's in fact do this. For I is 0 to my value. Let's change the let's do that for now. And now, if we want to highlight, so you can imagine if we run it like this, we're going to have a problem. Let's crank that up and turn on foo. We get stuck. In fact, we've got the interesting thing: we can't scroll up. Whereas if we now go haha plus I and then haha and give them all a different
Name. Yeah, ID basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then turn on foo and crank that all the way up or down.
Maximum ha. Love it.
And that's the nice thing about doing it this way is you can have menus that like change length just trivially, which is quite nice. And then we can scroll through them, obviously, with no problem. Now, it's also worth pointing out, now that we've gone and done that, it might be worth thinking about the way that Imguri does it, which is they would write something like haha hashtag I and do it all within one string.
Oh, cool.
And
That's sort of like a DSL kind of thing, for shorthand.
And so when it's rendering, it just chops off everything after the hashtag or the octothorpe or whatever you want to call it. That's an interesting thought. I think we'll leave it this way for now, but it's worth keeping this in mind as what ImGUI does.
Yeah, that's cool.
I have to think about the reasons they do that way. Certainly we've already doubled up on, like we've got the same text here as here. Anyway, I think we'll call that done for today. Later on, we might want to come back and like think about the GC issue, which may direct us to do something different with this, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably don't want to parse the strings either, do anything crazy in there.
Well, we don't. Parsing isn't that difficult because you can imagine that when you do the parsing in update is so trivial. It's just like you just use the whole string, and then in draw we're passing it to label, which is draw string. So I guess if we implemented our own draw string, we just stop drawing characters once we hit the hashtag.
Yeah,
hit the pound symbol. So anyway,
although that's us creating our own sprite batch or draw.
Yes, and
so.
I'm not sure we want to actually go down that route for the sake of this exercise. But maybe we do if we want to like add features into the menu, like drawing pips or something, or text wrap or stuff like that. So anyway, let's finish it off there for today. Thanks for watching, everyone.